It's weird too, because you know everyone knows Moon Meander's persona. It's like super clowny. He goes in chats and he spams, and you would think like, okay, how serious can this guy be about Dota? But he rarely streams anymore. All he does is practice, spam games. It's pretty insane actually to see that level of dedication.
Yeah, he really seemed to hit a certain point where he just doubled down on dedication to the game.
For battle.
We're seeing the Misery Night Stalker once again.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot last time they played it.
Yeah, he did very well. You're going to see the double mango build out of him. Also watch for Pylai, who does do the early TP. This is happens quite a bit on the Radiant, or sorry, when you're on Dire side, just because you're able to get quick access into the enemy jungle, and it's so hard to efficiently counter ward that pull camp on the Radiant side.
I think Team Secret looks. For a second, it looked like they wanted to dodge in case it was going to be an Undying +1 lane, which Monkey Business do a lot. It's actually almost always Fly and Moon Meander that pair up together, and that's no surprise at all, just because of they've got a lot of history playing on Complexity together this past TI, and Fly will naturally play those heroes that are just meant to annoy the crap out of you. But Team Secret, this dual lane, they've got Puppey going down here, and I'd imagine that the Bane is going to hang around a little bit for mid. That seems to be Pylai's preferred playstyle.
Always try and put pressure on the enemy mid laner, get his mid a slight lead up, especially with the Meepo, who's kind of obviously dependent on getting that level 3 area.
He's been doing that since MLG Columbus times, where he was playing the Wind Ranger or the Skywrath Mage, coming into the mid, click, right click, spam. Man, as a mid player, I hate that that's part of the meta. It doesn't feel like a 1v1, but it works out so well for them. And it looks like they're going to try to counter it. Crit's going to be here for the time being. They have to know that this is an option, but Pylai, it looks like he's actually just going to go straight to this bottom lane.
Yeah, they seem to know that Monkey Business are going to be running a defensive tri-lane here around Miracle, as Team Secret are running their 3 heroes at the bottom lane, which does leave our 1 versus 1 matchup here. Misery versus Moon. Beastmaster, Night Stalker. Who's going to come away with the advantage here in this match?
I think it's the Beastmaster. If you take a look, Night Stalker has a ton of base damage, but Beastmaster has even more. And you've got the boar you've got to worry about at all times.
Yeah, and it's not like you really want to like void down boars. That's not a very like efficient use of your mana, so.
You're seeing Misery ready at half HP. And this is just from the boar spam. If Moon Meander controls this correctly, I think he definitely should win this matchup. But he's got to be careful around nighttime.
So then the question is Team Secret actually going to be able to get the better part of the engagement at the top lane? There is also the nighttime factor that Misery may be able to provide some sort of upset, especially since he's probably going to get his level 4 by nighttime, and that usually you see Night Stalkers actually go for the 2nd level in Hunter in the Night. Maybe that actually offsets the boar slow enough that he can actually get an advantage, but we'll see as time goes on, obviously. First 4 minutes going to be a bit rough for him. And the bottom lane does seem to be pushing back Animage from being able to get farm. So far, I guess that can be called a success. Meanwhile, our middle lane matchup, which is probably one of the most interesting ones you'll see all tournament long. Meepo versus Sven. Seems like Sven is off to a nice early start, but Weehaw now has his extra Meepo, so things are going to get a little bit more dicey.
If I remember correctly, the last time I saw this, it wasn't in the mid lane anyways. Oh, No-Tail's going to sneak that one. That's so unfortunate. But the last time I saw a Meepo have to play against Sven, it was actually Weehaw when he was on Balkan Bears, and he had to play against Fierce Sven, and that Sven ripped through that Meepo. It wasn't even close, actually.
High is going to be caught by nice ice shards from Crit with the combination of the creeps. They're able to turn, but Crit now has to snowball himself out of this one and make sure he doesn't get cold feet procced. They do get a nice 2-man decay, and that'll stop the fight in its tracks.
If there's a player that you want playing against the Meepo too, it's probably No-Tail. He should know this hero in and out.
Oh yeah.
Or at least know how to exploit it. And if he feels confident with that last pick Sven, because they did it so quickly, then they must have known for sure. So maybe I should give a little bit more credence to Monkey Business's lineup.
So the skill build for this Sven, do you think this is going to be the maxed out Great Cleave?
At some point, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to get it earlier than later. The problem though is that you lack a lot of damage. And you don't have a huge mana pool to work with in general.
Right.
Sometimes if you decide to go for that, you might have to offset it by getting a lot of side stat items. He's going to get it at level 4 early.
Yeah, so we'll probably see him. Sometimes we see Sven's max it out from here and just keep the Stormhammer at level 2, though it feels like the nuke is going to be kind of necessary against a hero like Meepo and Ember Spirit. Heroes that you really want to try and burst down as much as possible.
Yeah, they're pretty even in this mid matchup, and surprisingly at top, Misery's doing just fine.
It makes you even better with this rotation. Weehaw is going to come around from the side. They're going to be able to slow down Moon. The Poos are going to come in, and Moon's going to be locked in quite heavily. Misery's got another nuke coming up in a second, but it doesn't matter. Right clicks from Weehaw will be able to finish him off. First blood goes to Team Secret.
And that rotation is so hard to spot for because they dewarded that top rune almost immediately, and Weehaw left one of the Meepos into the lane. So it's natural to assume for the Sven to call out to his team, okay, he's probably going to go to the jungle, actually, and not even the mid lane. And once again, no tail sneaking that rune, but Weehaw should be just fine. He's going to TP back to base. But yeah, as I was saying, it's really hard to call for that rotation without that top ward there.
Yeah.
So he knows for sure that that's a guaranteed gank. There's no way they're not going to get that one.
And now Misery is in a very good position because he's level 6 while Moon is still level 4. He's got nighttime advantage as well. And he does go for that extra level on Hunter in the night that we were talking about before. And is he going to get phase boots? He will. So now your movement speed, who cares about the boar slow? You easily outrun the boar and the Beastmaster. So Misery may be able to really push this advantage. Though maybe not. It looks like they're going to rotate the Night Stalker out of lane. They may try and gank the Beastmaster with the Ember Spirit first. But Ember Spirit wants to be able to sit in the safe lane and farm. Now it seems like they did their job. For the first 4 minutes, they gave Night Stalker a solo lane where he was able to get levels. Now time for the Ember Spirit to take over.
I think this is a fine idea to swap. You're not getting too much out of the Ember Spirit, or not as much as you would want. 19 CS isn't that fantastic, and your Night Stalker is doing so well. Being able to be a part of a kill, your mid lane's going okay too, so why not just secure the Ember Spirit's farm? Make sure that he has an okay game as well. The laning phase has definitely gone okay for Team Secret so far. They're up around 200 gold, but the difference is not that big.
One small problem is going to be that because he has the second level in Hunter in the Night, these rotations, he can't actually go down to the bottom lane and threaten the Anti-Mage as is. And with the vision that they had of the Hawk, they know he's rotating out. The only lane he can go for is mid, but the Sven's rather tanky, and the rest of Monkey Business are already kind of centered up in that middle lane. If anything, Misery's aggression may be caught out by the Beastmaster, who is currently jungling, trying to finish up his level 6.
Yeah, there's actually, it's going to be so difficult for them to gank that mid lane. It's a mid Sven. He's got 1000 HP, 6 armor to work with, and Warcry. Top of that, he's got the stun to kind of counter in case the Meepo decides to come in. I don't think that's the gank that you decide to attempt.
Weehaw does manage to pick up the rune and will be stopped at a snowball, but yeah, the roar comes in and they'll just chain stun Weehaw down. First pickup there for Monkey Business.
No-Tail even committing the God Strength, making absolute sure that there's no way that Weehaw gets out of that. They want to slow down this guy's momentum as much as possible.
Oh, the sleep doesn't last quite long enough. I'm not sure if the silence would have been enough for them to be able to kill this Anti-Mage. But it would have been...
He's got phase boots. What level of brain step? Level 2? I think so. He hits really hard right now. 100 hit.
In that case, Miracle has to be all the more careful. He does have a good laning ward though. So he should be okay.
Yeah. Hey, Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Well, according to you, apparently I'm gonna owe you a lot.
You owe me
more.
dinner for life.
Yeah.
Alright, this bottom lane though, you gotta be careful because there's a lot of counter initiation that can come in.
Yeah, there's so much
hero you don't want to do that into.
I almost feel like Team Secret knew that there was a laning ward just because Pieliedie did go for that very early Nightmare. And was just kind of thinking, okay, if there is a laning ward, I need to throw out this early Nightmare, otherwise...
Pieliedie should tank this gank so he can get out. This is fine for him to die here. Misery just gets out, and they've lost the support for a 4-man rotation for a smoke.
Yeah, that's perfectly acceptable for Team Secret. Pieliedie. The kind of standard play for him. Yeah. Knowing where to position himself in order to tank potential rotations.
You notice that he's on the far left, and that's not a mistake whatsoever, because everybody's missing on the map. You notice that even that top lane, Eternal Envy, he had that Remnant pretty far back, just to make sure that if a gank does come, he has time to get out and react. And this is what you need to do. That's one of those support deaths. I know it's one of those jokes like, die. Yeah, but it's part of the playstyle to make sure that your cores are doing okay. But at bottom, this might be an overcommitment.
Yeah, they're diving in a little bit deep. Fortunately, they've got the movement speed. Well, maybe not so much anymore now that it's daytime, but before, the movement speed to be able to get away from that tombstone. Team Secret, this has been kind of interesting watching Moon. He's been like jungling this whole entire time, which is a really interesting way to play the Beastmaster once you hit level 6, because when you're off map like this, you're just putting pressure on all the lanes because they don't really know where that rotation is going to occur. Oftentimes a Primal Roar is a free kill if you have another hero next to you. So it's an interesting way to be able to free up space for another support to pick up levels. You can see Crit is about to get his level 6 because of this, while still keeping up your farm and keeping pressure on the map at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people underestimate, how much pressure you can simply put on just by playing the vision game. A lot of people feel that if they have the opportunity to farm, they should take it. But imagine if Moon Meander goes to that top lane. The Ember Spirit sees him, he can decide to play a little bit back. They can set up opportunities for a decently high level kill. If you kill a level 6 Beastmaster, it's well worth the time, right? It's not like you're killing a level 3 Bane or anything like that.
Yeah.
So just by not showing on the map, it creates opportunities like this one at top where Eternal Envy might feel a little bit comfortable.
Oof, the roar.
That's so hard to gank.
It doesn't come in on time. EE just happened to back up at the right time just before the snowball was started. And that made things really awkward because they were relying entirely on that snowball stun to be enough time for Moon to close the gap for that ultimate.
Yeah, Eternal Envy, the reason why he knows that that's happening and before they even break the smoke that he's gone is because Crit has been using the Ice Shards continuously to farm. He hasn't used Snowball once, and then he just decides to lead with it into an Ember by himself? No way. That's pretty much committing yourself to death if there's nobody behind you. So Eternal Envy reads that and says, I should just get out. Just rely on my instincts.
Misery farming up the bottom lane until the next night time. He's already got Phase Boots earned, despite not really having the most successful first night time when it comes to kills. He's still farmed up quite significantly. A nice 2-man Ice Blast. Team Secret taking control of the rune as best as possible.
He's got the same amount of CS as the 2 other cores on the side of Monkey Business. And that's really significant because a lot of the times when you play these heroes like Night Stalker, the ones where you feel pressure to gank with, oftentimes what'll happen is you fall behind in farm, and then by the next time the night rolls around, you're so far behind that you don't have anything to compete. You just don't deal damage, you don't have levels. So I like that he's so focused on getting his own farm and guaranteeing himself damage for the next nighttime.
They do have Darkness up. So if they are able to actually scout out Miracle here, they can go ahead and pop that one with a sleep, get the long duration silence from that, 5 seconds, and easily take him down. And you're going to see it right here. The sleep goes down, nighttime activates, they
They're going to use the A blast.
Yeah, they just pop him so easily.
Played so carefully that entire time. I was just about to comment on his game sense, where every single time it feels like there's a support down here, he knows and reads the situation properly. They smoked down for that, and they even had a ward. That was just pure game sense. And he decides to poke his head out like a turtle.
And immediately
that was not chopped off.
Radiant's bottom tower has
It's a brutal image cap.
Monkey Business.
Under attack.
Rotating their 2 heroes around here. This game is turning out really passive. There's a lot of interesting small strategical maneuvers on both sides. But nothing's really coming of it because both teams are actually playing defensively well enough. They're both reading each other really well, right?
Team Secret should play defensively. They have, I mean, they have a Night Stalker. It's daytime. They've also got a Meepo that all he should do at this point in the game is farm. There's no reason for him to gank pre-Ags. Just because Aghanim Scepter, every component of it takes so long. And Monkey Business, they've tried to play aggressively 2 or 3 times with the smoke. One time they found a support. The other time they actually blank out and get nothing. But you're going to notice they are going for it, and something I want to comment on too is, you notice the Sven's build, he decided to go for the Bracer because you can't just decide to not go for any stat items when you go for this max grade cleave build.
And that's what I was kind of leading into, right? It is to the advantage of Team Secret for this game to turn out a little passive now. And it's going to have some combat now. Monkey Business not quite getting the Meepo like they wanted. Well, maybe the Ice Shards and a Snowball. No, they're going to not make that dive. Just a bit too dangerous against the team of Secret. Especially still during that nighttime.
That's huge though. They get the tower kill on Miracle, create a little bit of space for him, and at the same time they execute a gank. Even if it's on highlight dive, the more significant thing is that they were able to get the tower at top for free, pretty much.
Yeah, and that's where I was really leading into this. Monkey Business, if this game is passive and it's to the favor of Team Secret, what do? You just start manning down towers with the Sven? Is that the best way to force something out of Team Secret and not keep this kind of farm fest that's happening?
I mean, you're gonna play the vision game because you have a Beastmaster and look for these opportunities. They just don't have a lot of. You can't really fail the ganks right now when you're playing against a lineup like this.
Yeah.
Because if they mess up, the Meepo gets a bunch of kills. Then what ends up happening is he picks up a fast Ags and he gets his blink before the anti-mage gets Manta, and then you just jump on Miracle whenever you see him because you know that even if you trade 1-for-1, they've only got a dual core setup, whereas you've got an Ember Spirit, a Night Stalker, and a Meepo. And the Night Stalker's doing really well for himself right now. He's only 1 CS behind the Team-Mage. So you don't have to play this panic style if you're Team Secret, whereas Monkey Business, you gotta kind of pick your opportunities, and they've got the heroes to do it. You've got a Beastmaster that can constantly scout out for you. You don't have to really rush for anything, and Misery's actually gonna walk past them. This is so awkward.
He immediately gets stunned up. Ice Blast is gonna come in. Meepo might be able to take advantage of this one. They throw down the ultimate, trying to pop Misery, but now they've been caught. The Meepo comes in. He's got a double damage. He's just ripping through all of Monkey Business. That's 3 down.
Chilling
and we
touch.
said it was so necessary for them to be able to pick their fights and not get caught by the Meepo, but that's exactly what happens here, and Team Secret will gain quite a lead now in this game.
You had Chilling Touch plus the double damage onto every single one of those Meepos. Nobody's getting out alive. At that point, they should have just cut their losses. It was unfortunate that they ran into the Meepo at the same time, but Weeha, you had to have known he was going to jungle this entire time. It's not a hero that's going to immediately go for the Ancient stacks. And that's so huge for Team Secret.
Yeah, this is about to go from bad to worse because they've got Fiend's Grip and no tail. He's all by his lonesome in the jungle. The Ice Blast over the top is going to make sure he does go down. Tanky is all hell, but 3 different heroes fight the nukes necessary to bring him down.
That was so random. The Night Stalker just runs past 2 heroes. They're not quite sure what's going on.
Yeah. Oh no, what is this Monkey Business? They're just falling apart at the seams now. 3 kills in the top lane turns into another one in their jungle, and then yet another one in this bottom lane. That's Miracle dying twice in a row. Very uncharacteristic, I would say, of him, who's usually able to avoid those kind of situations and always keep his farm going.
There just isn't a lot of space on the map right now. Once they lost control of that top fight, things became really complicated for them, and they just lost their 2 main farming cores. Team Secret have to be so happy about this, and they're playing this really well. They're even going to find Crit.
Yeah, there's nothing Crit can do as he's silenced up. They're actually going to have the heals come in. Maybe he can actually snowball this one in a second, but the Ice Blast finished him off. He didn't want to snowball because Misery was stuck. All those zombies are actually holding him in place. Now they're going to cut down those trees, but they still have the nukes necessary to finish him off, and Team Secret, they're fine. They'll do what Monkey Business should have done earlier and cut their losses.
This Ember Spirit, all the meanwhile, has been farming. He's been completely untouched. 2 kills to Eternal Envy's name already. Meanwhile, the anti-mage at bottom, he's been pressured so much. He doesn't have vision on this south side of the map, and that's so difficult for him to maneuver around because all he can really afford to get away with is 1 or 2 camps. Then he just has to back out. There's not much for him in the jungle either. Like, you notice, he farms 1 wave, then immediately blinks back.
Oh, wow. Depending on what the rune is, I think they were going to give it to EE, just so he can have some mana to work with, but you can't say no. So a double damage, dire side, bottom rune with a Meepo. That's just a free Aegis.
This is going to allow Team Secret to finally start to play incredibly aggressively. Before, it felt like they were just playing the passive game, waiting for opportunities to come to them, but now you're going to start to see mass pickoffs because how do you actually kill that Meepo twice? We saw how much they struggled with killing that 1000 HP Night Stalker. What are you going to do when you've got to deal with all these Meepos?
Yeah, give it another 700 gold or so, and Weeha will be ready to just get super aggressive because he just wants to have that Blink Dagger, and they'll be ready to go. Eternal Envy's still obviously going to be sitting back and maybe farming up his Battle Fury a lot of these times. Misery is halfway through his Aghanim Scepter, so if they get another good fight, they'll have like a 25-minute Ags at the very latest for the Night Stalker, and then you're looking at probably a gym shortly thereafter. All of a sudden, the vision of Monkey Business, they're not going to have any. They're just going to have to be reliant on essentially the Hawk being fed away multiple times to the Night Stalker just to get some semblance of vision up.
Yeah, that's fine though, and again, here we go. Secret, they have the smoke available, they know they have the Aegis. You've got your Blink Dagger on the Meepo. It's times like this where once you've hit these item timings, you want to get aggressive. There's no reason to just play the past game when Miracle has nothing. You want to apply the pressure as much as you possibly can because you know that Monkey Business is going to fight shortchanged, and even the Sven can't really provide too much for you. And
free pick off on Crit. I thought they were actually going to be able to find something else. They ran into the Undying farther up, but Weeha, he was playing it pretty carefully. He just blinked back from that one instead of trying to be aggressive, and that was for the best. Monkey Business actually had 3 different heroes up here, all trying to protect Miracle's farm, who's trying to go for that Battle Fury right now, but he only has the headdress and the Perseverance.
At Monkey Business, I think they realize the type of game this is, and they don't want to get too aggressive, but at bottom, it might not really matter.
Tail running forward, but Weeha's going to be able to catch him. They are definitely going to get this kill, and even TP out in time.
Problem right now with Monkey Business's lineup too, Cap, is if you notice, they've got no wave clear, and they've got no real way to split push either. They don't have the Moon, Nature's Prophet, or anything like that. So there's not a lot of pressure being created on the other side of the map, and at the same time, they can't really create pressure on the other side of the map because the Meepo has a Blink Dagger, and even if it's you've got 2 supports like this, Beastmaster and the Undying up there with you as the anti-mage, he'll just kill you all.
Puppy. Is he trying to get an aggressive ward out? No. He's already got one by that cliff area on the left-hand side.
You notice too that Weehaw is just sending all the side Meepos away from his team, because he knows that even if these die, they'll respawn onto the main one, so he's perfectly safe.
Yeah, so he can really aggressively split push without having to worry about what happens in that second life. Team Secret, scout now with the Ice Blast, not going to find anybody. Monkey Business do successfully TP out. That's still a defensive reaction. Not really what you want to see if you're a Monkey Business fan. You need them to start getting aggressive and finding more pickoffs, otherwise this Meepo is just going to take over the game, and the Ember Spirit, probably 10 minutes afterwards, is also going to be coming online.
It's really surprising that Monkey Business have been able to get up as many wards as they have. I think it's about time for Team Secret to pick up a gem, even without the Night Stalker Ags, because you want to apply just more and more pressure constantly. Deny as much vision as you possibly can, and the anti-mage, Miracle's just a safe play in general, and you want to take advantage of that fact by denying him all the vision. And at this point, it only takes 2 heroes to kill him. The Ice Blast or even the Meepo himself can do the job for you. By denying the vision, you're going to slow down this Battle Fury by quite a lot, and you can just make excursions into the jungle whenever you feel like it.
Yeah, it's either that or like 4 heroes surround Miracle at all times so he can, you know, just run aggressively in free farm, but then you're shutting down everyone else's farm.
Yeah. You can play that style too, but Team Secret are going to be comfortable because they just have so many cores, and they've got one of the best late game supports in Dota, in Puppy's Ancient Apparition.
And they've got a lot of movement. Like this, between the Meepo and the Ember Spirit with the Boots of Travel, they can really take advantage of the fact that they control 70% of the map at all times. And just farm incredibly efficiently. You're going to see Team Secret right now centering up for a tier 2 tower at that top lane. Monkey Business seem to be okay with a trade-off here. They're going to go for the bottom tier 1 as the turnaround. This will help get some of perhaps the items that they're looking for. There's going to be the next round of Necronomicon for Moon Meander, Crit, maybe a Blink Dagger is what he's going for here, and Miracle, the Battle Fury. So in a way, you could see why trading a tier 1 for a tier 2 would be worth it for Monkey Business, but they're actually going to get chased away. Nice Blast comes in, mass TPs, and the tower does go down to the Beastmaster, so it doesn't get denied at the very least, but they have to try and get out of this one. Moon is going to be caught by Misery. They have the net that's going to be able to come in, and Moon is definitely dead. Crit, is he going to be able to get out? The nuke Fiend's Grip is actually there to stop him, and that'll be a secondary kill going to Team Secret. They don't get the deny, but the rotations are still worth it.
It's hard to run out of that just because you've got a Night Stalker at night on top of a Meepo with Blink Dagger, and they had to have known that Secret was going to fight that. The bottom tower wasn't low enough, and they can just send the Meepo clones back, and then they'll always take that fight. And that's part of the strength of having a really strong Meepo player, is that you can be on the map pretty much wherever you want. We've even got almost a Hex coming out on a Weehaw. That's just going to ruin the anti-mage's life even further. I mean, we're talking about a Battle Fury. Like, how long is it going to take? It's not no tail. Oh, that must have been a misclick for sure.
Yeah, now they're going to have to back up. Its rotations are coming in. Misery's going to be able to find Fly. They silence him before he gets anything off it. Without a Decay and without Tombstone, Dying dies real quickly at this point.
Team Secret's just playing such a clean game right now. Yesterday, they might have made some errors, but this time around, for the most part, it's been pretty clean.
Monkey Business, how do they really get back into this game at this point? I mean, they're pretty far behind. Do they just try and force a team fight?
I'm not gonna lie, it's really difficult because part of the issue right now is when you're trying to analyze games like this, you have to think what items are they waiting for and what kind of impact will it have.
Yeah.
When you've got a hero like Anti-Mage, getting the Battle Fury, it'll speed up your farm, but it's never gonna make you fight worthy. You need at least another 2 items to deal with the Meepo, maybe even a BKB at some point. Whereas if you've got a hero like Ember Spirit, when you're this far ahead, the Battle Fury means a ton, because it'll allow you to farm while also picking up fights. And what do you really get if you're Monkey Business? Because you've got the BKB on the no-tail, but he's already used one of the charges. He doesn't have that much damage to back himself out. So whatever this next BKB fight, you've got to stomp this fight.
Nice for Meepo stun. The Misery is going to be able to come in and slow some of this down. Weeha is surviving with that one. Meepo is going to try and move himself away. The other Meepo is trying to get out as well, and it does get out. Now the Fiend's Grip onto Crit. Pylai die holding man. It looks like they're going to be able to nuke him down. No-Tail's just desperate to be able to finish off this Meepo and finally does get the kill. They take him down, but it's already costing them 3 of their members, and now the rest of Monkey Business are being controlled quite heavily. They might be able to get No-Tail. Miracle's going to blink himself out and should be fine. No-Tail on the other hand, though, is going to try and hide himself and TP away, but that's not going to happen. Immediately gets canceled. 4 heroes for the Meepo. Well worth it for Team Secret.
And the Sven was excellent against the Meepo there. The amount of damage that he was able to put out is great, but the rest of your team is so far behind because they've been playing so cautiously around the map, and this is the issue is, yeah, you're not dying, but everybody from Secret at one point was farming. This is just what they do, is that they know how to collectively farm, stay ahead. Even the Night Stalker is a hero that typically doesn't get a lot of farm. 4-2 and 7, he's got almost 100 CS backing himself up at 24 minutes. These are not underfarmed heroes.
Chains Fly is actually going to die here to Eternal Envy if he's not careful. EE though, as soon as he sees the Beastmaster axes, he knows it's time for him to back up. That Primal Roar is going to be coming up quite soon.
I think if they take the fight, and I'm trying to think right now, you probably... I'm not really sure. This is a hard one because they don't have cores that you want to see when it comes to this ultra late game.
Yeah. But perhaps you're maybe far enough behind that that's your only real option. You think that maybe you can't take team fights right now, so pushing it late may offer better opportunities.
Yeah. You've got Beast, you've got a few more BKB charges that you can really fight with. That's right now the strength of the lineup, is that No-Tail, if you notice, they couldn't really do anything to stop him, and the Bane wasn't quite in position yet. If Pylai Dai gets a really good Fiend's Grip off, then everything changes once again. So it probably means that Monkey Business just gotta look for these pickoffs and hope that Team Secret make a few errors. That's probably your strongest bet right now.
Do you agree? You were actually brought up fairly early on the idea of the Blink Dagger on the Sven. Do you agree with No-Tail's build here that is very stat heavy and is continuing to do so? It looks like he's going to be going perhaps in S and Y and not going for that extra jumping item that would be able to perhaps catch out the Ember Spirit.
I think it's fine when you're dealing with the Meepo, but problem right now is that Team Monkey Business, they've got so many different heroes that they have to worry about. You're probably not going to kill this Ember if Eternal Envy doesn't completely mess up. He's just going to play the distance game, probably grab a Lincoln Sphere or a Scotty, stat up like crazy, and then it's going to be nearly impossible for them to initiate on him. And even if they do, then again, you've got to deal with the Meepo. There's just a little bit too much. So this next Roshan is probably going to signal Team Secret to start going for the high ground. Want to continue to apply pressure if you're Team Secret now, because the anti-mage doesn't have a Manta. Can't really get into split pushing scenarios.
Misery is actually going to complete up a Vlad's here quite soon, so once again just trying to amp up everyone else. And this is fairly common for a Night Stalker. You're not going to usually build damage for yourself, but you're going to try and make your allies as strong as you can. With his Invis rune, he's trying to scout things out right now. 6-17, we were showing earlier. Pretty rough gold lead for Monkey Business to deal with on the hands of Team Secret.
And this is a team that can continue to scale. This isn't one of those all-in, we have to push immediately lineups.
I thought Eternal Envy was actually going to go for the Lincolns because of the Primal Roar.
I think it's to deal with the Sven and his BKB. You can slow him down with the Sleight of Fist into the Scotty.
Yeah. Yeah, but instead he's going for the Scotty, so... I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, as you said, that's the one hero that Team Secret couldn't really do anything about. Unless they had Fiend's Grip available, but last time we saw the team fight, it was used on another hero.
Right, the Roshan's still not up. Eternal Envy does the right thing here.
Jump in. Crit's going to be able to find Pylai Dai here. They'll just chain stun him down, but the Ice Blast is coming in. They're going to be able to hit 2 with that one. BKB immediately popped by No-Tail as they realize they have to get out of here. Team Secret not going to push their luck. No reason to at this point in time with Roshan up. They might as well just farm that. Even 4 versus 5. They still feel enough in control of the map that they can go for that big objective.
It doesn't really matter. Pylai Dai, It's an okay death. Traded Bane for a BKB charge. That's how I choose to look at it right now.
And Eternal Envy still free farming the top lane, and Weehaw still getting that Aegis. And he's going to have a Scythe of Ice here rather soon. Another double damage. What is happening? Looks like they're going to go for the fight in the top lane. They know it's probably about the time that they're going to get aggressive on Eternal Envy, and that's exactly when the Meepo's going to come in. Beautifully baited out. They're going to be able to get No Tail here. Snowball save is not going to be enough. Ice Blast is just going to hold them in place, and eventually they will go down. And now the Surround Tusk also going to fall to the DD Meepo. They might as well push uphill now.
Yeah, there's nothing that can stop you. There's no split push that you have to worry about in some of the games that we've seen. You don't have the best creep clear. The only thing really that you have to contend with is the Beastmaster axes. And there's no major ability like the Tidehunter Ravage that's going to scare you, or the Earthshaker Echo Slam. This is pretty standard from Team Secret. Just go to the high ground. Look how quickly they take it. Like, how long has it been since we've seen that easy of a high ground?
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
And they're probably going to be able to just continue down the objectives. Then, unfortunately, can't go for a second laner backs just yet. Both tier 2s are up in middle and bottom lane, but they can very easily rotate with their various travels and push out those side lanes and continue to force the fight since they still have that Aegis advantage. Which is going to turn into a Scythe of Ice advantage here pretty soon, but first they're going to get the pick off on Miracle. They get the silence in here, and he doesn't have the Manta yet. And this is the problem. If you don't have that Manta by now, you're still so susceptible to those single target silences. You're just going to continue to be shut down over and over again.
Yeah, Team Secret, they've got full map control. They've got a lot of different items on everybody. Eternal Envy's completely unafraid right now. He's got a Talisman of Evasion too. They don't nearly have the damage that's going to take him out. Look at top.
Yeah, they like actually get 2 different stuns on him, and they hardly put a dent in his HP pool.
And this Meepo is going to push in this mid lane too. He's just got so much control right now. He's got one Meepo here still. He's got a Hex now.
Goes the Hex on to No Tail, trying to get the control from the nets. Doesn't look like they're really committing for the kill, just trying to force out perhaps a BKB charge. And if he uses it there, that will then allow the Meepo to much more aggressively push in the middle lane. And Monkey Business, I mean, it seems like this is all but pretty much over for Monkey Business. I'm not sure really how they're going to be able to get a good team fight towards the end of this, but was it the drafts? Was there the idea behind the lineup for Monkey Business? It seemed to be okay versus Team Secret, but it was also in a way too fragile in the fact that you had to play, you know, kind of perfectly. It was one team for one fight that it almost felt like, oh, as soon as that Meepo got the triple kill, the game was just naturally going to continue that way.
And you just had 2 cores that had to farm a lot. Like the Sven and the Anti-Mage required a lot. So you needed a core that was going to make space for either of them. And they attempted a few ganks, but that top fight where they lost all control in the jungle, that pretty much determined a lot of it. And also the rotation by Weehaw into that top lane when they were able to pick up the kill on the Beastmaster, that set the Night Stalker up for a really good game. And it made it really hard for...
Look at Eternal Envy. He's actually coming around the back here.
Oh, what?
Behind the tier 4 towers. He slows down to the zeros with the
position.
chains. He hits them with the Ice Box, and now Moon's gonna stun him up. Ember Spirit is just gonna be focused down nice and quick. They get the fast kill. What just happened?
All right.
Space created. Meepo's pushing down the tier 3 tower in the middle lane, I guess, but No Tail's gonna try and run him down. They do have a stun. Maybe they can get Weehaw as well here. They've got the ultimate. Miracle, are they gonna be able to burn through enough mana to finish him off? Weehaw gets off the net. Crit comes in, Walrus Punch, and they take him out. That's going to be just the Aegis, though. He's gonna come back here in the middle lane. And now the BKB is gonna fade out from No Tail. That means he's susceptible to that Scythe of Ice. They're gonna go for the poop pops. For what? Oh no, Moon just keeps on crashing.
I don't even know how he got there. I assume he just walked from that.
No, he literally just pushed in from the the top lane and just wrapped all the way around.
I mean,
Eternal in a really awkward U.
Yeah, Eternal Envy is like 100 times better than any of us, but that's still a clowny play. Yeah, he has to know that's a mistake. I don't even think he'd mind being criticized for that one.
I had to like double check. I was like, does he have Aegis? Am I crazy here?
That was pretty
No,
absurd.
It's definitely the Meepo had the Aegis.
You know they're gonna post that meme, right?
Yeah. Oh, I know it. I know it. We're gonna watch. Oh, the snowball save comes in. Actually,
he's going down so
now
fast.
it's done. Weeha's gonna actually get popped before all this, and No Tail stays alive.
What
and
is
maybe
going on now?
Team Secret are actually gonna be forced to run away. How did this happen? Monkey Business with the successful defense 2 pauses ago. We were talking about how it seemed all but over for Monkey Business, but now a glimmer of hope in the darkness.
They had an Aegis Meepo. They burned through a BKB charge, and they still lost the fight. That's got to be a little bit disconcerting considering the type of lead that they had. They were up by a little over 20,000 gold. They were pushing in all of the sides, and there wasn't a whole lot that Monkey Business could do, but this is their way back into the game, is that Dota, you're never going to play perfect game. People are going to make errors, get a little bit overconfident, and you can take advantage of that. And they're going to push even further for this. I really like this idea to smoke. Just start to swing the momentum the other way, look for the pickoffs while the Meepo's dead.
If they can get a Misery, immediately jumped on, Snowball, chain stun pretty heavily. They have the Ice Blast, but Misery still gonna fall. It doesn't look like they have the power to use that Ice Blast. And that one team fight was probably like a 5,000 gold swing, 7,000 experience or something like that. Monkey Business now going to turn that into even more with an additional pickoff on the Night Stalker, a tier 1 tower. And who knows what's going to happen now that Monkey Business actually have control of this map. They can go for more pickoffs. As you can see, Eternal Envy, because he chose for the Scotty rather than the Lincoln Sphere, is still susceptible to the initiation from Monkey Business.
Yeah, they've got Vision right now. They've got the Vision game to play with. I think they picked up the gem too, so they're starting to deward a little bit, and they've just bought themselves quite a lot of time. But I think this is going to prompt Team Secret to kind of regather, start the aggression once again. Hopefully this is the push that will allow them to end it, but you can't really afford to make those kinds of mistakes again. That's a one-off situation. If you do that again, you're just giving Team Monkey Business probably another additional 5 minutes to collect themselves and get back into this game. Because make no mistake about it, Team Secret still have pretty decent control, but to go from 20k to a 15k lead in 30 seconds, gotta worry about that.
I swear, if Team Secret managed to win another fight based off of a double damage rune, we're gonna change the DD is gonna be the Weehaw rune.
That's pretty absurd how many times he's had it. That's actually had a lot of impact.
Yeah, he won 2 different team fights with it. Took a Roshan, like super early, like 14-minute Roshan solo.
Definitely, there's not a lot of times where I say one rune was able to affect so much, but the DD this game has definitely changed a lot for them. And they're going to smoke up, head to this bottom area, hope that Monkey Business is going to get a little bit too over-eager. If you send one hero down here, you've got Weehaw that can instantly burst him down, but we saw what the Sven was able to do to the Meepo twice. And now he's got the Blink Dagger. So the opportunity is there now for them to kill Eternal Envy as well.
He gets another big strength item and is able to amp up that God Strength even further. The Meepo, it doesn't really matter how many items you get on this hero. You're still going to be susceptible to that kind of straight physical damage. Your clone Meepos just don't get enough.
Okay, so Team Secret. What's the play here? Wait for the next Roshan.
Yeah.
Monkey Business gets stronger and stronger as time goes on.
What are we going for here with this Ultimate Orb? That's that's a Manta build, right? Aren't we? Or is this the Scotty?
I think you go to Scotty.
Okay.
You want to be able to control the Sven up, and you have to get tankier. He dies so quickly.
Yeah.
I'd kind of like to see Misery actually grab an AC. I think they need some armor for their team collectively. They don't have any Vlads or ACs, or they have a Vlad actually.
Oh, Jesus! Crit just gets popped. Good lord. Team Secret still showing the strength of that Meepo poof. Now they managed to pick up the Bane at the same time. The gem is going to be picked up by Misery, drops an item, and Moon Meander's now going to be caught as Eternal Envy goes on to they managed to get the net on him, and in Monkey Business, they're just going to have to give him up. In fact, they may still be caught. Misery has full vision of these heroes. No Tail may be forced into a BKB, TP out, has the blink up. He's away, he'll be fine.
They lose one core, but it's not really that big of a deal anymore. And it's a Beastmaster that's kind of under farmed, so it doesn't really matter too much. What matters is this high ground defense. You can't really afford to lose 2 sets of racks, because then Team Secret can just kind of start to throw bodies at you. You gotta keep this alive. But without their Beastmaster, it's gonna be so rough. They don't have Tombstone either.
Oh, Fly
is just dead.
Yeah. It's just that long range initiation. Chain set up. They're going to go on a Weehigh here, trying to pop it as quick as possible. A lot of these meepos are staying alive. They managed to get off the poop combination, and that brings Miracle low, and he won't be able to finish off the meepo. Now the net's coming out. No Tail will finish him off with a big hit there. He actually managed to get a critical. And are they going to buy back for this one? It looks like the Tusk, yeah, he's going to be forced into it as they can't afford to lose their second lane. Rax, Team Secret, all landing for that as they bought back on Meepo. Just going to try and go for defense on the last lane of Rax. Miracle still down for another 50 seconds. The Tombstone out, slowing things down. Team Secret. But this is going to be problematic. They have the BKB, but they don't have God Strike. They won't really have the kind of damage if they get hit by an Ice Blast here. If they manage to get their snowball just in time, help save them quite significantly. Weehaw trying to burst it up, but the Beast Grip on the no-tail. He's not going to be able to get any more damage out. Weehaw survives, and Team Secret finally take game number 1 after a slight misstep just 7-8 minutes earlier.
I mean, I think it was just some boys clowning around.
Yeah.
They were so far ahead.
That was that was like 25,000 gold lead or something.
Yeah, they still had the late game advantage though. You have a Meepo, an Ember Spirit that had a ton of farm, and you had an Ancient Apparition. Crit did a really good job of dodging the AA Blast like 3 times in a row for his team.